Well, welcome along everybody to the grand finals here in HCS London, and this isn't any old grand final. This is a grand final years in the making. It is a special moment for Europe. It is a special moment for everybody here in London who has come along to the arena today to be a part of history. We have a grand finals ready to serve up to you. We have FaZe Clan and Optic Gaming sat on our main stage ready to throw down.
We really couldn't ask for a better grand final here. It is El Clasico coming to London. Halo's returning for the first time in 6 years to a main stage on English soil, and we could not ask for a better matchup. And for FaZe Clan, the gentleman on your screen, the Revenge Tour is fully underway.
It certainly is indeed. This is a team, well, they probably felt a little bit disrespected from some of the talk that was going around. Will they make a grand final? Was it a disappointing performance back in Arlington? Well, they're in the grand final with a series advantage as well. As you can see, your series layout in front of you, it's Optic Gaming who will have to win this one if we're going to see a second best of 7.
That's right, they got their work cut out for them, but after we saw Optic winning back-to-back matches against FaZe in Arlington just a few months ago, FaZe Clan has answered back. They 3-0 Optic Gaming earlier in the tournament to now find themselves in the winner's bracket. As you say, Optic Gaming will not only need to win this series to win the tournament, they will need to win a second best of 7 as well.
And FaZe, of course, look like they've done the work to adjust, right? Look like they've put that hard work in that they're so synonymous for, to bounce back from that performance in Arlington, to put themselves in this position in this grand final. You're looking at some of the contributing factors to that, and you can look at gameplay, you can look at comms, but the one word that really jumps out to me is what summarizes what difference we're seeing in FaZe now is intensity.
It really is. They are intense, they are refocused, and as we said, we knew that a disappointing finish like they had in Arlington, there was no doubt we were going to get a different FaZe Clan here in London. They have flown very far, and for good reason, to prove that they are a different team than we saw just a few months ago. They are undefeated here at this event, and they are looking to close this out in one single grand final.
And of course, on the other side of the stage, it's a team where wherever they go in the world seems to have the fans behind them. It's Optic Gaming, the Green Wall, back in the grand finals for 2 events in a row, but will want to have a different result come the end of this series.
That's right. For anyone that missed it, let's not forget Optic Gaming narrowly lost the last event against Space Station. It was a Game 5 in the winner's bracket. It was a Game 7 in the grand final. They are also out for revenge, as the Greenwall fans have been loud and proud here in London as well.
Now, we need to talk about this series layout just a little bit before we get into the gameplay, because it's a fascinating one, right? We were talking about what game types favor certain teams, what records they've had in the build-up to this on certain game types, and one thing we took away from it is kind of putting all that to the side. Some of the greatest Capture the Flag Aquarius games, which is the first game in this series, have been between these two teams. We're talking last-second flag caps to draw, to send to overtime, last-second caps to win games, to win series. Well, we get it first up in our grand finals.
We really do, and we should mention also the records on this specific game type here in London. Optic Gaming is 2-1 on Aquarius CTF, FaZe 1-2. So statistically, might be a slight advantage for Optic Gaming in this game number 1.
And then you look at game number 2, right? Slayer Recharge. You would say, oh, the suite of Slayers that we have, and we talked about how Slayers can be so influential. FaZe probably fancy this one as one of their best game types. Again, we've seen them win tournaments. We've seen big moments from FaZe in this game type. And then the big one for me is game 3. Yep. Talk of Oddball and FaZe. Disappointment from them in Arlington. Looked like one of their weaker game types. Well, the work has been put in, but Optic are the best Oddball team, in my opinion, in the game at the moment.
That really is. We're going to be watching that one as well. 3-1 Optic Gaming on that Oddball Streets, 2-0 for FaZe. But as we said, 1-2 record for FaZe coming into this one. Can they turn that into an even record in the game number 1? That's the question. 12 minutes on the clock. CTF Aquarius, of course, 5 flags to win, and we're about to get underway for our game number 1.
Well, London, we've had to wait a long time for this moment. Europe has had to wait a long time for this moment as well, and I'm sure as soon as we see some guns firing down you, the crowd is going to get loud. We're going to have drums, we're going to have trumpets. It's a unique atmosphere in this room, to say the least. It
really is. I got to say, it's so good to be back in the UK. The very, very few cities are able to get crowds as loud as this city and as loud as this nation tends to be here, whether it's an esports event or otherwise. They tend to be loud, especially when you have FaZe Clan and Optic Gaming in the building as the players are now loading in to that first match. But as we said, FaZe Clan, the gentleman on your screen, they're looking very different. They've done the hard work to prepare for this event, and they're looking to get back on top. Let's not forget, just in case you're tuning in for the first time, these are your defending world champions on screen.
Yeah, they certainly are indeed. Don't forget about how good FaZe are. They've proved it already in this tournament, but for them and Optic Gaming, that is all that matters. That trophy you see in front of you right now, that is what they play for. That's why the hours are put in. That's why the tough conversations are had, because they are the teams that want to lift that trophy.
We should also talk about later on in the series layout, if we get there on map number 6, King of the Hill, a very, very interesting game type between these two. Both teams are undefeated in King of the Hill as well. Optic Gaming is 4-0, FaZe Clan 5-0.
Now, I've got to talk a little bit about the atmosphere and what a special one it is in this room right now, because most of the people who are sat in this room right now have had to wait years for this moment. They have watched late nights, early mornings when they go to work, looking a bit sleepy, looking a bit bleary-eyed as they turn up having watched a North American tournament. Well, this is your moment, London. This is your moment, Europe, to prove to everybody that the HCS belongs here in Europe.
I gotta say, it's been so cool meeting so many fans for the first time as well, seeing all the different regions, parts of whether it's the UK, whether it's Europe, where they flew in from, where they took trains in from, and so many people coming up and saying, I've been watching, just like you said, I've been watching this game for 10 years, and this is my first ever LAN, and now we get to see it in person back in London. Optic Gaming versus FaZe. As we said, CTF Aquarius, your game number 1 between these two.
All right, then, let's get this one underway then. The grand finals is ready to go. London, I hope you're with us, because this series is going to be special. Optic versus FaZe Clan, 2 of the best in the game, are about to get it on.
Cannot wait to get underway, and what a table setter this game number 1 is going to be. We are underway here in your grand finals at the HCS London Major.
Well, early on here, it's going to be a great pickup for TriPPPeY. Gets that overshield almost immediately. And little advantages at the start of the series can turn into double kills, which can turn a little bit of early momentum in your favor. Renegade, though, a little sneaky play early on, getting behind enemy lines and getting that flag moving.
You already get the feeling it's going to be a loud grand final here. Only a few double kills exchanged in the room, and already a lot of cheers coming in for fans on both sides.
TriPPPeY trying to fly in, and will fly in to get that trade to clear out his closet. 2 dead on either side at the moment, so the battle for mid-map control is what we're looking for right now. A little bit of an opening created on the car side here by a combination of Optic players, but SnakeBite will shut that down with a double kill of his own.
Really, really even here. Only 7 to 5 kills in favor of FaZe Clan overall off the opening breaks. That was 3 dead momentarily for Optic Gaming. It'll be a big trade that comes in here. Instead, Lucid stays alive to keep things interesting. Eventually, that kill will be taken down, however. It buys Optic just a little bit of time for the moment.
Yeah, you can see how closely matched these teams are as well. It's just a constant battle for mid-map control at the moment. The only moment we really saw one team get into the base was that early kind of overextension in the opening strategy for Renegade. I will say that when the teams walked out, it feels like there's some heroes and villains, if you're asking where the fandom is in the room.
It really does. It's probably been quite some time since we've heard such a big split in terms of the difference of when Optic Gaming came in, it was loud. You heard a few boos when FaZe came in. Certainly, they will play villain. 3 dead momentarily for the side of Optic Gaming.
4 dead, you would imagine. As TriPPPeY does get taken down, the flag is moving as well. FaZe have got this one back to the closet, and they might be the ones to strike first here. TriPPPeY's still stuck in that respawn screen, and it's a clear run home for Frosty. It's FaZe who strike first.
Talk about weathering the storm during a Let's Go Optic chant. The flag goes in, and a few boos are exchanged as well. FaZe Clan is clearly the dark horse. However, all they're worried about is the score on the bottom of the screen. They now lead 1-0.
It's going to be a second overshield being picked up by Optic Gaming, and this is their opportunity now to push a little bit of map control. The first time we've really seen FaZe trapped inside of their base, sherpering that flag back and making sure they capped it, puts them in a position now where you can see the pressure can be applied by Optic. It's an opportunity to pull this flag, and I love this from Deadzone. Seizes the opportunity, seeing those players trapped at the back of the base, and with FaZe finding kills not going their way, this could be Optic time.
Unbelievable timing here, like you said. Deadzone's going to bring this one into this fight's going to go. Yes, indeed. And the room loves what they see. We are tied 1-1. Let's talk about the timing there, right? Deadzone comes in with the overshield. He's in a 1v2 in the back of the base, but he perfectly times the shots and the dip there to just get the flag off the stand. By the time he was in his own court, he still had a sliver of overshield left. It's really great timing. That's why they picked up Deadzone. For plays like that, we are tied up here 1-1 after 3 minutes of play.
And you can see it's not just the cap as well. Optic have managed to keep a little bit of map pressure onto the FaZe base. FaZe still find themselves with 2 players in that respawn screen. And you can see that Royal2 is having to fight back through his base at the moment. The flag is going to be thrown out here by Lucid, and FaZe find themselves 2 dead. And Royal2, he's going to find himself dead as well.
Lucid does so well to not trade there. SnakeBite is your last player alive. Let's see what he can do. That's traded out as well. That will be 4 dead. It's staggered spawns. Based on the numbers, this should be another Optic flag.
Well, from 1-0 down to maybe 2-1 up. TriPPPeY is trying to force this one home, but Renegade will get the stop early on. However, Formal is there to scoop that flag up and slam it back home. Optic are up 2-1.
Who else but Matthew Piper? You might have seen on Twitter today, Formal saying the crowd in London, they always show up for the green wall, and My God, can you ever hear it there? The MVP chant in the room as well. This is a one-sided crowd, to say the least.
I was going to say, maybe they're just cheering for APG. He was on the desk because he did a great job a little bit earlier on, but this grand final is all about these 8 players on your screen. 10 seconds until that overshield comes up, and just a little reminder, it's Optic who have got it both times so far in this game.
See how this one plays out as well. Formal just trying to hold down Fridge, wants to be close by. A lot of pressure, though, coming in from the FaZe side. Perfect shots coming in from Formal, but will it buy them the overshield?
2 dead here for FaZe. Overshield here for Lucid. It's 3 in a row for the green wall. FaZe find themselves 2 dead again, and look at this, the Formal flank is coming in. SnakeBite's going to get a kill in the base, but now is the opportunity for the pressure to be put down. Formal will go down in the back of the base, which creates a 1v1 opportunity, but Renegade from bottom middle is doing so much damage to Lucid, and that overshield will be neutralized.
It's a huge play from Renegade. That's not easy to do. You saw the numbers there. They were down in essentially a 2v4 on that push, and you had Lucid pushing in with the overshield. For Renegade to take that bottom mid route, to go cart bottom mid, to totally not only take the overshield off, but also take down Lucid, it's a really big individual effort that will keep the game within 1.
Well, no surprise with the slays and the score the way it is. When we're looking at total team slays at the moment, Optic, they're 37 kills on the board. FaZe Clan 29, so just lagging behind a little bit when it comes to those slays. And Lucid, he's having to move in at the moment to try and maybe get a touch on this flag. TriPPPeY's there to be the bodyguard. He's running this one back. FaZe still find themselves 2 dead. It's a 2v2 on the map, and TriPPPeY might have just created the opening with that kill.
Oh, here they go. They're going to go double this flag up. This flag is definitely going home. Yes, indeed. Optic Gaming up 3-1 off of some fantastic double G slides. It's a perfect route, perfect run. There's nobody else you'd rather have better movement tech running that flag through car. Lucid brings that one in, and just like that, with 6:30 left on the clock, it's Optic Gaming with a 2-flag lead.
Well, you just mentioned that they run it home. It feels at the moment, with the crowd the way it is, that Optic might feel like they're at home with the fans that are getting behind them. Lucid trying to double up with TriPPPeY once again. Instead, turns his attention towards Frosty, who has had a fantastic tournament up until this point. But Lucid, he's had a pretty good one himself. He's got that thrust, but he's causing FaZe problems.
Really, really great damage coming in there. Lucid right now is already 13-8 in the game.
2v2 on the map. Renegade was last player alive there for a few seconds, so the importance of that double kill cannot be understated. Now he gets that flag moving and turns his attention towards those respawners. He's putting pressure onto all of the members of Optic, and from a position where he was last alive, now he gets the last kill, and he can run this flag.
4 dead, perfectly done. You might have saw there in the player camera, Renegade looks over to make sure the Fridge kill was going to be cleaned up, and then he turns his head right away. That was 4 dead. This one should go for FaZe Clan.
And also FaZe have the overshield. They send the flag back home. The boos come in because FaZe Clan are going to put themselves within 1 flag, and you're looking for maybe one of the reasons for it. Renegade's, of course, ability to get kills and clean up damage when he was last alive, but the overshield has been a difference maker once more.
Well, I really don't think I've seen a one-sided crowd this heavy, and with perfect kills like that from Formal, it's just going to add insult to injury for FaZe Clan, but I have not seen this one-sided of a crowd probably since the MLG days. This is an Optic Gaming fan base here in London.
SnakeBite takes him down finally, just to clear out the base. Deadzone moving in, though, to clean up the damage. FaZe find themselves 2 dead once again. Frosty, weak in the back of the base. A beautiful defensive grenade, though, is going to buy him a little bit of time, maybe, to get his shields back, re-challenge, and a little bit of dancing around that pole. Deadzone times the burst beautifully. And with FaZe finding themselves 2 dead, Optic just doing a job of securing their base. They know they have that flag advantage.
Good shots exchanged once again. There was 3 dead for FaZe for just a second. SnakeBite in the back of the base was your first spawner. He does very well to keep Deadzone at bay, but here comes the push.
FaZe trapped in the base and in the fridge. It's not a good place to be. Deadzone wishing maybe he had a couple of frag grenades to make this job a little bit easier. That's why he's just trying to bide his time, trying to play this one a little bit slow. He doesn't want to be traded out, and traded out he won't be. Frosty cleans it up, though. Optic find themselves 3 dead. TriPPPeY last alive, and FaZe, for the first time in what feels like a minute or so in this game, can progress across that 50-yard line.
Big responsibility here from TriPPPeY. If he falls, this overshield will be even more challenging to grab. There's going to be a lot of eyes on him in just a moment.
1v1 from Frosty gets 1. Formal cleans it up immediately, and even though Frosty won the 1v1, SnakeBite finds himself last alive, and the perfect timing and the perfect grenade from Formal means the pink side is secured, and off the back of that, so is the overshield.
Take yourself back just a few moments. What did we say? TriPPPeY needed to stay alive as long as he could bottom middle, and he gets that early position in the end. They're able to clean up the kills off of the delay from TriPPPeY. Formal checking his corners here. 3v3 on the map, going to see if he can get another flag going. It's off the stand.
It's a good question. Is Formal going to try and force this? Maybe force some FaZe players to show themselves before doubling back. It's exactly what he's doing. He knows that they don't have the numbers quite yet to force this, but with two FaZe players going down, and with SnakeBite in his vision, he might be the one to get the kills to force this flag across.
World 2, the only player alive. Flag is out. Deadzone will jump. That return Formal's going to bring this back through the gen. Not able to stay alive, but Deadzone's there for the return and the touch.
Yeah, there's the baton pass, and here comes Deadzone. He's going to run this one in. It's going to be 4-2 to Optic Gaming. One more flag, and they will take game one.
3:15 left on the clock, but based on the pace of this game, you get the feeling that we might not need it. Optic Gaming only one flag away from taking the first game.
And the most English chant that you can imagine of "Who are ya?" is being asked of FaZe Clan right now. And let me tell you, maybe you don't want to poke the bear quite yet. It's 4-2. But with Optic Gaming losing a couple of kills and SnakeBite G sliding back to his stairs with a flag, it might be a one-flag game.
SnakeBite perfectly hitting exactly every G slide that he needed to. They're still too dead, so this delay should ensure that this flag goes in, and it does. And it's answered back by another series of fierce boos. We got a one-flag game, 4-3 with 2:34 left. It's not over yet.
Well, FaZe heard the chant, and they said, hey, this is who we are. We're world champions, 4-3, and it might be 4-4. I mentioned how sometimes you don't want to poke the bear.
Too dead, though.
And they might have to pick up a few more kills before they secure this flag.
Oh, Renegade! It's gonna be big! That's gonna be big! SnakeBite's on the spawn. The flag will go. We are tied up at 4-4. The next flag will win.
2 minutes left on the game clock. Overshield, the next point of contention for both teams. Frosty picks up one, Frosty picks up two. SnakeBite,
oh boy,
he's going to pick up on Overshield, and all of a sudden, from 2 flags down, FaZe have got all the momentum.
This was 4-2 moments ago. Here comes FaZe now, Overshield in hand, making the push. 3v3 on the map.
Renegade gets one. SnakeBite's trying to buy time. He wants to play off some damage from teammates before he flies into the base because he knows that Optic are stacked up. But if Optic are stacked up and they don't get the kills, then FaZe will be able to run this flag. A couple of kills being traded, and it looks, to be honest, like Optic might have neutralized that push.
Formal there with a big kill from the fridge. As you say, slow things down just a bit. You get the feeling that both teams now realizing just how much is on the line here. The game's slowing down. We are in sudden death, essentially. Whether we go to overtime or not, the next flag will win. 3 dead, though. Deadzone is your last player alive. Here comes the FaZe collapse.
Oh, he's about to be the meat in a horrible-looking sandwich. Deadzone gets taken down. TriPPPeY, first one off spawn, but I'm not sure if he's going to be in a position to really influence where this flag goes. I say that, he gets a kill, and FaZe all of a sudden find themselves 2 dead.
That flag had gotten so far, they were already in the courtyard. Somehow TriPPPeY and an Optic spawner, they stopped the flag in the court.
Look at Royal 2. Royal 2's on a massive flank, but TriPPPeY, he's managed to get inside of the basin. Never doubt him. I said he was first spawner. There might not be much he can do. Well, he's proving me wrong right now.
TriPPPeY's 4 dead. Where's that flag?
Optic are 4 dead. And now you can see that flag is back at the FaZe base. Surely it's just a case of grabbing it, running it home, and turning this game completely around into a win. FaZe will win game number 1. And the intensity you are seeing from Renegade and Frosty is synonymous with what's brought them success so far.
Wow, Renegade already exchanging just a bit of chirps across the stage here. After that game number 1, let's not forget, it feels like not very long ago that FaZe Clan was down by 2 flags in a 4-2 scenario. And they bounced back, stealing the win out from underneath Optic Gaming. And in the end, they narrowly outslay Optic 78-76 after being outslayed for the entirety of the game. They were down by 12 kills. It was 62-50 in slays, and they brought the game all the way back over the course of about 2 minutes of play. Let's take a look at some highlights from that fantastic game number 1.
I mean, it was a great start at the start of this game for Optic Gaming. They got themselves in such a good position, and we always talk about how momentum can swing, and I think a lot of it was based around the overshields. What way they were going in that game was influencing that next set of kills. Optic got the first 2, and then FaZe started to fight for a little bit more. Managed to get into some team fights, win a few of those when that overshield was coming up. And from there, they got just, I think, a little bit of confidence, a little bit of belief back into their game. And then I will say, one thing from both teams that was exceptional, when that flag went out, it usually went home.
It really was. The flag efficiency was unbelievable from these 2 squads, and that's what you'd expect with the 2 teams that have exchanged world championships so far in this game. It's awfully fitting that we find ourselves with these 2 in a grand final. We know what they're capable of. There's been some team changes over the years. And at the end of game number 1, despite it looking like an Optic victory, a sure thing at 4-2, in the end, it's FaZe Clan that closes it out.
It's interesting that you say it's a sure thing we can, of course, endorse is the fact that we still stand by the fact that Aquarius CTF between these 2 teams never disappoints. A 4-2 comeback from FaZe in that game to put themselves one up in this series. You've got to wonder what Optic are thinking going into game number 2.
Yeah, you got to think they just need a mental reset here without a doubt. As we said, a game type that had lent in terms of overall statistics in favor of Optic coming into that game. So FaZe is now going to be 2-2 in that game type overall. Let's take a look at some Slayers here, Lucid and Renegade on your screen.
Interesting game type, of course. We talked a lot about it throughout this weekend and how Slayers have had such a big influence on who calls themselves the winners at the end of the game. And certainly at the end of the series as well. But this one, we were talking about it before we got into the series. FaZe on Recharge, you would say if they had to pick one map to play Slayer on, this is where success has been had. They can play a little bit slower, they can play a little bit more methodical. We'll have to see if this is the game type that puts them 2 up or if Optic can respond.
And here we are in game number 2. As we said, FaZe right now 2-0 in this game type, Optic 2-1. FaZe going to look to extend this series, and if they do win this game, they would only be 2 games away from closing out the tournament.
Camo going to be the point of contention, as always, here at the start of this game, and Lucid is going to find it. But the next question, as always, is where is that shock rifle? Who's managed to pick it up? Well, the one thing for FaZe is they don't want it to be Lucid, and unfortunately, it's going to be Lucid here for Optic.
Lucid goes for the drive-by there on tower, but wisely just retreats to pipes. Going to re-peek that.
He got stuck!
What?
He got stuck!
From where? What? No! SnakeBite from distance with the stick on bat ledge, unbelievably timed from distance, will take down Lucid with the camo shock in what might go down as one of the best sticks in the game so far.
But the crazy thing is, as brilliant as it was, as amazing as it was almost like a 2-kill swing because of the fact that you take the camo, the shock, and Lucid out of the game. It amounts to nothing because FaZe went 4 dead off the back of it. And Optic have taken control now, 8-5, and calm, because Deadzone has the shot back, and Frosty just found that out.
Unbelievable. SnakeBite 4 kills already on the board. TriPPPeY as well in that same camp. 8-6, now 9-6 as kills are exchanged. And as we've said, it is such a game of margins between these two. And it's going to continue to be that. Deadzone barely stays alive at the pipes, now 10-9, just a 1-kill game.
I was going to say, Frosty just did something that he probably shouldn't have got away with. He challenges, he wins the first fight, and then he gets more damage onto the player in pipes, which is immediately cleaned up. So Frosty, that impactful entry Slayer in that situation in the team fight, does so much for FaZe to break into the pipes. 13-10 is the score for now. Lucid having a backup, having to retreat. That shock is going to be out, but all eyes now turn from shock to camo.
As you say, all eyes bottom mid. Big battle here for Lucid. Should be able to hold down that angle really single-handedly. And there it is, TriPPPeY with the camo here. Optic Gaming with a 4-kill lead game in his hands here. An opportunity to really extend that lead.
Renegade, no shields. TriPPPeY looking to close him down. Renegade is not playing games at the moment. The only game he's playing is Ring Around the Rosie. And TriPPPeY, again, for Optic Gaming, maybe doesn't make the most use out of that camo. It's 2 in a row now. The first one, you would say, a little bit of fortune, a little bit of brilliance from SnakeBite to take down, but that one in a trade in a situation where Renegade is no shields, you look back on that and think, maybe I could have done a bit more.
Yeah, you really do, as a lockout-esque stick there. 16-13 now in favor of Optic Gaming, and an opportunity to get a listen in with the green wall. Let's go ahead and listen in.
We promise you it wasn't that quiet. Unfortunately, we can't quite listen to Optic Gaming right now, but one thing we can tell you is that they're looking pretty good when it comes to the scoreline. It's 18-17. It's a 1-kill advantage, but just as I started the sentence, by the end of it, it feels like it changed. 1 kill the difference, and Frosty now has that shock rifle. Headshots in this situation is what you expect in a grand finals.
Just 1 kill. Look at the pings that are coming in from Frosty saying TriPPPeY is in this corner here. Hydro! Shot caller going to do the work himself.
Beautiful shot. He knew he was there. You could see, like you say, the frantic pings. And TriPPPeY only had to show his face for a few seconds before Frosty went peekaboo.
It really was. I don't know if we have another example of someone pinging something so heavily and wanting a kill. And Frosty says, again, you know what? You want someone to do a job, get in there and do it yourself. Frosty gets the pick, and that will now tie the game up 18-18.
It's not just Frosty screaming dead at people to get the team going. It's also just frantic pings across the map to try and energize.
Oh, here's the Shroud.
This FaZe lineup. Camo coming up now. 2 players stacked up. Frosty's trying to fire blind through the Shroud, and what a difference that Shroud made to the push.
What a push there. Let's see if they can close it out, though. Right now, the advantage is still flying here in the way of FaZe, even though Optic did have a very nice push coming through.
Look at this, though. Now the pinch is coming in, and all of Optic, even though the push was good, they forgot about Renegade, who comes in and manages to clean up some of this damage. For the first time in the game now, FaZe have the camouflage. 22-21, they go into a lead, but this really could not be closer between the two.
Really could not, but Royal 2 could change things here. A historic, of course, location for him, especially in this matchup between these two teams. He comes off the bat ledge, picks up the first kill.
Still a one-kill game. Two players stacked up on pipes. Deadzone kills him and does not go down himself.
Wacky angle there somehow. I don't know if it was a backback from another player in pipes or it just goes without saying, caught off guard. 24-23 now. Optic takes a narrow lead.
Three camos so far in this game, and nobody's really done anything with them. They've just been traded out by 2 or 3 miraculous plays. Showing again the counter strategy to those camos from both teams that we saw a little bit earlier in the tournament is still very much true now. 27-25. FaZe with a very slight lead in this game, just the 2 kills. But Optic have to be careful here, because when FaZe get into a lead, and it's a little lead, if they find a kill or 2, they get you on those split spawns. Before you know it, it can be 30-25 going into the back end of the game, and these slayers where FaZe do best.
Just moments ago, we had Optic Gaming leading here. And you go back to that Shroud push, right? It looks so good on paper coming in from tower to elevator before the power-up was popping. And in the end, FaZe gets the upper hand in that battle, and they get the power-up as a result. And you can't help but think that's really what's led to the 2-kill lead right now as well.
Shock rifle with plenty of ammo here for Frosty as well. He's just going to try and hold angles, hold lanes, and maybe, again, reintroduce himself to TriPPPeY. For the second time in this game, TriPPPeY's going to tell his teammates that Frosty has the snipe.
Shock is still a bat ledge. Might be the comms. 2 dead for FaZe for the moment, though. And look at this. An opportunity for Optic Gaming to get back in this game. They're only down by 2. Lucid with the camo. Let's see what the play is.
The story so far of the camos has been how they've been neutralized. Nothing has happened. Well, this is where maybe the story is going to change as Lucid flies in. Lucid will get 2. Lucid finds the shock rifle as well. And although FaZe have a 1-kill advantage, it might change in a few moments' time. If Lucid can use this camo, find an angle, and find a head, then the game can be tied up.
For a moment, there was a little bit of deja vu. It's a 1v2 push. Very nicely done in long haul from Optic Gaming. And there's more here if they can get the kills.
Royal 2 manages to find one himself, though. This game is tied up at 34. Lucid trying to flank, trying to help out. Formal in the tower is going to have to be a trade for him. And those trades go in the favor of FaZe. A 1-kill advantage still to the team on our screen right now.
Shock might have had a little bit more ammo. Very good shots from Renegade. The drive-by, perfect reversal. Picks up another one as well. It's a double kill. That will now extend the FaZe lead even further. Not afraid to back down from the battle. However, Formal gets a little bit of an upper hand. Renegade with the repeat.
You knew he was going to challenge it. He's off the back of that double kill when he fancied that fight all day long. And now Renegade is starting to take over. Those 3 kills are the difference between the 2 teams. 40-36, and FaZe and Renegade has changed the game.
For a moment, you think you're watching a post-game highlight reel. No, this is just
the same
sequence, the same killing spree coming out of Renegade. They now lead 42-37.
Royal 2 gets another one as well, and FaZe look like they're locking in towards the end of this game. It's the biggest lead that we've had for the entirety of this second game. TriPPPeY finally gives Optic something to sing about, as Deadzone will get another. 4 kills the difference. It's a 4-team wipe, though, for Optic to tie this one up.
Oh, what a set of plays overall. Deadzone stays alive at a very, very important time. Eventually, the kill's traded out. But what a sequence as 3 fall for Optic Gaming. And only 4 kills to go for FaZe in game number 2.
Well, there's going to be 1 kill picked up by Renegade. It's the easiest one we've seen from his point of view in the last few moments. And it now puts him within 3 kills of putting his team up 2-0 in this grand final. SnakeBite will find 1. 2 more to go here for FaZe.
This is not what you want if you're an Optic Gaming player or fan. 48-42, Renegade still with camo to play with as well. Looking to make a play off of some damage.
You get the feeling with the camo in the hands of Renegade, it's not a case of if, it's when. Formal in the 1v1, Renegade wins it! He's perfect in that fight once more! And FaZe now just need 1.
You got to think that kill actually has a lot, more than the sum of its parts there. A little bit of a mental game coming in there in the Renegade versus Formal battle. 1 kill to go.
Deadzone's trapped. Frosty's pushing him. It's going to be SnakeBite who gets credited with the final kill. As FaZe now find themselves with a little bit of daylight in this grand final. They're up 2-0.
What a performance in the end, and what a set of plays from Renegade. How about you've been tied with Optic Gaming for the entirety of a Recharge Slayer, and Renegade out of nowhere puts together a killing spree like that to blow the game wide open. And once he got that lead, we never saw Optic Gaming get back into the game.
I mean, Wes always talks on the desk about superstars, right? Renegade is in that category, in that bracket of player. And if you needed an example of, you know, what's a superstar, you show them that moment, you give them the context, and that is everything that you are looking for from your superstar player in a tight game, in a tight series. The double kill followed by the confidence to take on one of the best players ever in that 1v1 across map. Win that, grappling off the back of it. Brilliance, just complete brilliance coming in from Renegade.
It really was. What a highlight reel set of plays in one single sequence. That was the stick that you saw on screen. It was an unbelievable one. And let's not forget, right, even though Optic Gaming ended up with a lead after that stick, if they end up with a 4 dead and Lucid still has camo shock, that could have been a very different opening to that game. So at the time, we didn't really know how big SnakeBite hitting that cross-map stick on Lucid was. When you look at the final scoreline, you have to think that's a pretty big deal, because if Optic instead went up by 4, 5, 6 kills early on, it could have been a completely different trajectory to the game. This was the end of that spree from Renegade. And really, he didn't even end it there. Let's take a look at his total kills. He goes 17, 13, and 7. He leads in both kills and assists on the team in that game.
So a fantastic start to the grand final for FaZe. Of course, they only have to win the one series to call themselves champions here in London. But now we turn our attention to Oddball, and the biggest question mark maybe of the series when it comes to game types. FaZe have put a lot of work in. If anyone knew what the weakest game type was for FaZe, it was the FaZe members themselves. They have tried so hard to get this Oddball up to par with some of the other best teams in the world, but Optic Gaming, this is their best game type. The worry for them is this: if this game doesn't go their way, and they find themselves down 3-0, knowing that Oddball has been so good for them, where do they go from there?
That really is the question. We'll take a look at some brilliant objective play from these two. Not only having such a high percentage, take a look at that bottom category, really. The percentage of their team's oddball time, 40% for SnakeBite, just under that for TriPPPeY. To still be this positive on a 1.12 KD and a 1.14 KD when you are running that much objective is pretty brilliant. Optic Gaming going to need to dig deep, as you say. If we look at the records for this game type, FaZe is 2-0 in oddball streets. Optic Gaming is 3-1. So still pretty promising records for both sides, but worth noting that FaZe is also undefeated in this game type in London as well.
Impressive stuff from the side of FaZe, showing that hard work is starting to pay off. And if they can really hammer home their advantage here in this game number 3, then you have to question, what have Optic got left in the tank if they want to push this one to a second best of 7? FaZe looking dominant at the moment.
They really are. And if they pick up where they left off in that last game, they're going to continue steamrolling. Greenwall fans in the building, no doubt hoping they're going to find some life with Optic Gaming to really just bring this series back within reaching distance.
Well, here we go then. Game number 3 is live. You could argue it might be one of the most important games of the series for Optic Gaming here. If they go down 3-0, it's a long, long road back to try and take this grand final away from FaZe Clan. Renegade's going to find himself a stalker early on. TriPPPeY's got that ball back to tower, but the kills are all going to FaZe.
Very interesting play here. TriPPPeY's essentially your last player alive at back gate. Going to try to play it. He does get the play ball, and they get 10 seconds on the clock as well, and they hold despite being 2 players down for really the entirety of that.
Camera's up as well. FaZe are going to get that and the oddball. So by timing those kills, getting those kills at just the right moment, where the oddball was played to, it means they can collect both on their way back. And now Royal 2, he's got camo, he's got Bulldog. He's just looking for members to take down.
And Mark, how many times did we see it yesterday? If there's an objective responsibility and a power-up popping, FaZe has not missed that just yet. Royal 1 and the rest of the crew have been on top of it perfectly. Textbook control of the entire map, of the power-up, and the objective as well. And after the opening from Optic Gaming, FaZe will now go into a lead here at 18-10. Camo will dissipate.
I mean, all of this time has been scooped up in Deadzone. Wow. Royal 2 takes him down as well as the shields are formal in that fight, and SnakeBite is running this one back towards Renegade. And I wanted to say, the impressiveness there.
Oh my God.
Who was coming in with the kills.
Jeez.
Well, forget about it, because Renegade's writing his own story.
I mean, this does not look like the normal pushes we'd see. Renegade just holding way too comfortably. They had perfect rotate there to drive away, and Renegade just takes each opponent down one by one, almost trades on the 4th as well, but 34-10, already a big lead for FaZe in round number 1.
Yeah, this tram holder is looking stifling at the moment. You can see that Deadzone's trying to fly in. He's got the Bulldog. And that's going to be the difference maker in that close range fight. That initial chunk damage just allowed him to re-peek and feel confident in that fight. Renegade, he should be dealt with as well. And finally, you're seeing Optic Gaming manage to win a couple of fights. It's going to be 3 dead here for FaZe. Last player alive isn't going to be near that op, but when they don't manage to get it out of Tram as well. So Optic have a chance here to put a little bit of time on the board.
Frosty here in Commando. We'll see if Frosty can get a last-ditch effort. He might wait for teammates based on his positioning and based on the respawn of his teammates who are going to make that push. Frosty, keep in mind on the kill feed. He is still around here somewhere. He has not been taken down. There he is, actually. Still on the Commando, and he manages to stay alive and take down Formal.
Renegade looking for the trade. Manages to find it himself. The op is not the point of contention right now for both teams. It's all about kills. It's all about finding space. Optic are closest to it. Will be able to get touches on it if they need to. FaZe now find themselves down numbers momentarily as the spawns come in, and Formal with some great shots to give his team the advantage here. Op always going to be down once more, as are the shields of Royal 2. TriPPPeY will finish that one off, and it looks like Optic may be thinking about picking the oddball up in just a few seconds. We'll get back into that game as soon as possible.
The players are still in game. You see Renegade just raises the eyes across the stage for just a second. It looks like we're getting word just before. Sounds like an in-game issue there, and I think our reaction is the same as the crowd, so we will get stage admins telling us exactly how many points were on the board at the time of an in-game incident. You could tell on the FaZe side, it wouldn't have been from their side based on how long they continued playing. Might have been something reported from the Optic side of the stage. We'll have to wait and see, but off of the opening, dominant control coming in from FaZe.
Yeah, it was a really good early hold from them in and around that Tram. They did a good job of collecting that power up. The Stalker was put to use as well. But Optic did start to find just a few kills towards the end before we just had the little break in play here. Found a little bit of time on the board, a little bit of scrappy kind of, we like to use the term transitional setup, where it's a 2v2 and they're holding the ball away from those last two players. But Optic, some good signs just at the end there, and you can see what you can expect to come in this grand final as well. Your series layout, if you're just joining us, of course, FaZe find themselves 2 up. A crazy, crazy comeback on CTF Aquarius, down 4-2 to win it 5-2. And then Slayer Recharge, they took over just towards the end of the game, thanks to that man on your screen right there, Renegade.
Really also worth mentioning, as you say, in both of our games 1 and 2, trailing for a significant portion of the game, and then later, this event's been fantastic. You never know when a trumpet's going to blare and prompt a little bit of a chant here. FaZe Clan members, as you can see, taking a look over their shoulder, undoubtedly hearing from station referees and exactly what the ruling is on the stage and exactly what the score will be as we resume the game. At the time of the reset, FaZe Clan was outslaying very narrowly, 20-19 in total kills, and a little bit of a lead on the board as well.
So I was dancing. Can't help it. One of my favorite conversations that I've had on social media, by the way, throughout this weekend was with Lethal, talking about the trumpet player.
Yep.
And I said, hey, can you change your team name to, what was it? Sentinels Trumpet Diss Tracks?
Yeah, Trumpet Diss Tracks.
And then he said, yes, but only if the trumpet player can coach us.
Right.
And you responded.
I suggested, yeah, I think the easiest way to do that then would be the trumpeteer honks twice. Now, we don't know if honks is the correct term for
but it is a funny word.
But it is a very funny word. So if an overshield is coming up, please honk twice. Or play your trumpet twice. We don't want to be offensive here. Been a great series so far. I have to say, for a lot of Optic Gaming fans in the room, you can kind of feel it, right? Got the wind sucked out of them after those games 1 and 2 because they've been so hyped throughout the entirety of game number 1. Optic is up 4-2, right? It looked like a promising game number 1. Somehow FaZe comes back with 3 straight flags. Similar story in game number 2. Optic Gaming is leading for a significant point of the game. Even at the midpoint, they were still leading 27-25. FaZe, though, brings that game back, and in the end, they closed it out pretty convincingly in Slayer Recharge as well.
Yeah, well, wait to, of course, get back into this game number 3, and I think it's one of those, like, is it unforced break? It's not something that is meant to happen, but it could be a good thing for Optic here, just to collect the thoughts, just to take a few seconds, step away and go, hey, how are we approaching this series? What do we want to repeat as our fundamentals and what we believe is going to be key to success for us in this? Because it's been a little bit of a whirlwind, and I feel like when you go into a Slayer game number 2, having lost in the way that they did game number 1, it can sometimes just get away from you a little bit, right? You're kind of thinking you got the hangover from game number 1. What went wrong? And then before you know it, you're into game number 2, and then you're down 2 in the series. So these little breaks here just to give you a second to kind of reevaluate what you talked about beforehand. We've seen it. Step away from the stage can completely change things for teams, right? Look at SSG. We've seen it a few times from them throughout this season so far. And I think this is maybe not welcome by us or the fans who are waiting for some Halo, but certainly might be for Optic.
Yeah, I think you saw Renegade just kind of let out a big exhale because you could tell that man was firing on all cylinders, and undoubtedly in that round number 1 as well. I'm sure he was hitting every single shot that he wanted to. So certainly a tough series of events there, but we'll have to see. Both teams are going to be ready to get guns blazing again, once again on Oddball Streets.
Yeah, I will say, by the way, I keep talking about it, but it really is a special moment to be here in London and have the HCS come back, because there's so many faces that the first time I've seen them in like 10+ years, which is crazy. Just seeing them walking around and seeing how people have changed is always fascinating to watch as well. And I got to give a huge shout out to the EU community again. It's amazing that this entire room has been filled. The people saying that the atmosphere yesterday in the SSG Quadrant Series was one of the best atmospheres they've ever had at a Halo event. It was very one-sided, I will say, but it's been special, hasn't it? It's been a real special feel in this room the whole weekend.
Yeah, you really do. You get the feeling that everyone, as you said, has been waiting a very long time. And whether it's for 6 years for Halo to come back to the UK, or whether it's simply been from fans who have been watching, so many fans just watching these players just year after year, and now being able to be at their first LAN, it's been fantastic. But we do have word from the stage. It's an audio issue on one of the sides of the stage. As that gets resolved, we'll go ahead and go to a quick break, and we'll come right back with game number 3 as soon as we can. Don't go anywhere. More grand finals after this.
Welcome back to HCS London, everybody. Welcome back to the grand finals. And good news, everybody. We've got the issue sorted, and it looks like we're about to get back underway. Now, a little update on what the score is going to be. If you're just joining us, FaZe will be up 30-10 on the score, and the clock will be set at 5 minutes in this first round of oddballs. So a lot to play for, a little advantage here for FaZe. Understandably, they had that time on the ball. Yeah, they did. Of course, now being able to restart matches with those exact score lines is going to be very helpful for scenarios like this. 30-10 in favor of FaZe. And I got to say, very interesting opening strategy from Optic Gaming, and that very, very non-traditional. We saw them grab the ball, try to toss tower, despite only having 2 players alive. We'll see if it's a similar start. Very, very fast push here coming down driveway. Yeah, look, 3 players from Optic Gaming absolutely fly down the arcade to try and take out Frosty, who was obviously going to go for that red gun potentially. Instead, it's going to be one of the members elsewhere who managed to pick it up. Renegade went for the Bulldog this time, so a little bit of a change of play. The oddball going to be picked up and scooped up as he's trying to force his way in towards Tram here. Oddball down on those stairs. A little bit of somewhat of a scrappy start here. Renegade does get that beat down though, and now Optic find himself 3 dead. 3 dead yet again. 2 dead for FaZe, so it will be a momentary 2v1. Lucid, the last player alive for Optic Gaming. We'll take a look at exactly where he is. It looks like still over at B. So now here comes the driveway push. Actually, garbage, excuse me, for Lucid. He's going to have help on driveway. He certainly is. Good damage coming in from Renegade, though. But the flank from TriPPPeY will mean that the numbers start to fall for Optic here. That's going to be 2 dead as another player will fall. It'll be SnakeBite who goes back to the respawn for a few seconds. And Frosty just got to kind of wait for spawns before trying to challenge for that oddball. But cleaning up kills his first port of call. 3 dead again for Optic here. Back-to-back 3 deads. That brings FaZe Clan to a 9-7 slaying lead overall. And worth mentioning here, of course, if you're returning to Halo, welcome back. 3 rounds to win now in oddball. The best of those 3 rounds. 100 points on the board for each round. 43-10 now in favor of FaZe. 3 dead. Royal 2 going to even the numbers up for just a few seconds, though. Lucid knows it's here. Lucid's got that assault rifle. Lucid is spraying, but Renegade's grenade is going to take over that fight for a few seconds to give them the advantage. Renegade again turns 1 into 2. He's one of the best at doing that. He really is, and it feels like he's just on a different level here. He's 5-2 in this game already. Finally, he's taken down, but every time we're on Renegade's POV, it looks like he has brought his A game to this grand final. All eyes now go to bottom middle. Camo spawning in just a few seconds. Optic got that ball back as well. You see TriPPPeY's managed to just scupper away a little bit and get it back towards Tram. Formal with a double kill. It's perfectly timed for Lucid to now move in and grab that camo. Renegade will become his first kill of the game, and not only that, he's found the Bulldog as well off his body. Big 4 dead there, as you said, and now it's finally perfectly timed. Take a look, Optic Gaming with signs of life and maybe a moment to breathe as well. They're about to turn the game over, and they still have a little bit of camo to make some damage as well. Information being passed around as well. You can see that Lucid got that info. Lucid going to use that Bulldog and the Shroud to stay alive as well. Renee comes in to take him down, though, as we have a momentary 2v2 on the map. Formal still set up in the back of Tram here. Renegade with this cheeky little spot, bringing out all the tricks, but Formal, he won't be fooled. Cheeky indeed. Renegade does get the kill back commando, but Formal also picks up 1, so momentary 2v2. There will be a lead change on your screen. Optic Gaming now in the lead, 59-43. And they've rotated that ball away as well. Look at this. TriPPPeY's now going to throw it out towards the front of Tram to make FaZe have to overextend for it. An overextension is going to be Renegade as he slides off with that Stalker to crack the skull of the player up on the balcony. 60-43 the score. Oddball is down still from the Tram. And Renegade with a really big individual effort there to get it behind. The timing! He can get one back. The timing! Gonna maybe get another one as well. This will be huge. This will be continued points here for FaZe Clan. They get 2 dead. Let's get to a listening with FaZe.
Oh my god!
Be back coming right. 2 tires on, 2 tires.
He's weak to you. Try it, Matt. Try mine. Mando weak. Mando half. Mando half. One behind me. One behind me on shotty. Him on 20. Guys, Mando half. Mando. Weak top 8, Brad. Or John. I hear you, Matt. 15 guys. Actually, Mando, GC on me. GC. Probably in the shower. Camo. Try. Livers for Camo. Absolutely Mando. Absolutely Camo. Be on me. Trippy's big. Camo on 3. Camo on 3. Anyone help me, Camo? No, I get on. One tire. Jack. PD. One in. 2 PD. 2 PD. One in. Nice shot. Last guy, Matt. You can kill him. You're gonna spawn C, Matt. I'm bringing it back. Stalker's up. I want to play fair. He's in B. I heard him. He's close. Stalker's up. Cut shot. Go hit shot. Go shot. You go over. Stalker's up. One in shot. Matt's playing himself. Yo, top 8. Come back. Another one. That's time. There's one more. Two dead.
Well, Renegade doing Renegade things during the listening, but the score is what we need to focus on. It's almost a tie game, but FaZe do have a moment of control. They did have that camo, but Royal 2 will be the first player to fall in that fight.
When we got into that listening, it was 60-43 in favor of Optic Gaming. FaZe has completely turned it around. However, just as quickly as we say that, they will now find themselves 3 dead. Optic Gaming will now go back into the lead.
A little reminder here that FaZe had a 30-10 advantage at the start of this round from the restart, so you have to say maybe this has been much better showing from Optic, much more dominant than what we saw at the start of that first one.
Absolutely. By the way, both teams are tied at 33 kills apiece, even at this moment.
80 points is going to be crossed. If you know anything about FaZe and you've watched them throughout this weekend or throughout their entire roster history, you know you have to play until the last pixel. They will not give this one up until the round is done. A double kill here for Formal. He knows where Royal 2 is as well. Make it a triple for Formal.
Wow, 1v2 there, 93 on the board, 3 dead. This should be the round for Optic Gaming.
Should well be the round for Optic Gaming. 98 points of rising, and Optic will strike first in game number 3. They're up 1-0 in rounds as we head to round number 2.
And looking down the line there, no time for any kind of celebration, not even any fist pounds. They're locked back in there, ready for this next round, because guess what? They've been there before, right? How many times in this grand final alone have we seen them in the lead? And FaZe with fantastic late game composure. Optic Gaming is 1 round away from closing out this game 3 of Oddball.
Formal starting to really heat up in this series as well. He's 15-8, leading the way not just for his team, but just 1 kill behind Renegade as well, who's positive 10, by the way, in this game.
16-6 in a game like this, in a grand final. Really unbelievable numbers, as we said. Shroud will go down, Camo will be popped. It's a very good trade, though, coming in from Optic Gaming. They brute force their way. They get right in the face of FaZe Clan to make sure that Renegade cannot continue his reign of terror with that shotgun camo combo. It was 3 dead for Optic Gaming momentarily.
You just see TriPPPeY only had one thing on his mind, is get damage, to hit him, find a way to make that camo player disappear off the map and not let it impact what's going to happen in the next 30 seconds or so. Optic have got the ball up on the pink screen here. A couple players are going to be here. SnakeBite gets taken down.
Very good pre-nades coming in there. I think we all have the same feeling that SnakeBite is going to get away with something on benches, but not so fast. 3 dead. Royal 2 is your last player alive, and it's good time on the board for Optic Gaming.
Really is strong time. And one thing that may have been a little bit of a difference maker so far in the game is the control of the Stalker rifle, right? We saw Renegade having a lot of fun with it, understandably so, picking up kill after kill after kill. But now Lucid's got it. He had a little bit of a quieter start to this game, but with the Stalker in his hands, he might be able to change those statistics a little bit heavier over to the kills.
35-3 now. 2 do fall. Lucid needs to do everything he can to stay alive here, to make sure that they have some composure on the map. He's now last player alive. It won't be easy. 4 dead. It's a staggered spawn, but overall, most importantly, it's a clean wipe for FaZe Clan.
Halo proving it could be a horror game as well as he steps in and around that Shroud screen, but he's beaten down on his way through it. 35-11 though, as you say, is the score. So a really strong start to this round number 2 for Optic Gaming, continuing the momentum we saw from them at the end of round 1. Renegade at the moment just looking for bodies. TriPPPeY is going to be the first one that he finds. Great damage coming in from him again. Frosty's got that oddball back here for FaZe, and they have a tram setup.
A little bit of deja vu, right? How many times we've seen Renegade there at Music, and then the ball being held at driveway and tram, and they're going to continue scoring now. So what was a 35-6 lead is now less than a 10-point lead as FaZe continues to climb back.
Camo here for Royal 2, gets damage down but doesn't get kills. Optic 2 dead, FaZe 2 dead as well, but again, as we finish the sentence, those numbers change. Optic 3 dead, Deadzone Last alive, bottom middle, and you can see that Frosty has that odd ball in his hands, and we are going to see an exchange of the lead. FaZe will go into the lead in round 2.
FaZe also starting to pull away in the Slayer category as well, but just as quickly as we say that based off the double kill, it's now 52-50 in favor of FaZe Clan in total kills.
3 dead here for FaZe, 4 dead here for FaZe as well, and a complete setup in the back of Tram is awarded to Optic Gaming. SnakeBite got away with that Stalker rifle, I'm pretty sure, as well. We just saw those light projectiles flying in towards some of those respawners. Formal here, a little jiggle peek battle here with Renegade. Renegade's going to reach out. Formal's going to teach that lesson.
Here comes the push, might be a rotate here coming in from Optic Gaming. It's a heavy trap push coming in from FaZe Clan. It will be 2v2 on the map. Formal will eventually fall. Let's see if this ball continues to be rotated here to B.
Deadzone still a nuisance here at the back of Tram, though. He's looking for Royal 2, and Royal 2 does not know he's there. Or maybe he does. Oh, Deadzone! Sees the poke from Frosty. And pokes back with the Bulldog himself. Oddball is still down, though. Optic do have a commanding lead in this round number 2.
Look at this battle between Royal 2 and Deadzone. Neither of them want to give an inch. 61-39, though. What a run from Optic Gaming, and in the end, very good help comes in. 3 dead. Royal 2 is your last player alive on Driveway. This should be more time on the board for Optic Gaming.
And a lot of ammo left in this Stalker rifle as well, and certainly a lot of pressure coming in. The trade comes in immediately, and look at the objective efficiency. Kills fall the way of Optic Gaming, and that means immediately they have that oddball in their hands. Deadzone's looking for spawners at the moment, looking for information. TriPPPeY's got that ball back. Renegade trying to squeeze away with this camouflage. It looks like he might have just been able to do so.
Beautiful little tiptoeing there from Renegade to avoid both of those grenades perfectly. We'll see what he can do here. They have a 2-man advantage, 3-man advantage. This is big. All 4 dead. Lucid is your first spawner, and a big opportunity for FaZe to come right back into this game despite being down by 30.
Renegade still has time on this camo as well. However, gets spotted out. I tell you what, some of these players have got the most insane eyesight when it comes to spotting this camo out. Optic time the push off the back of the camo dissipating, so now they will not have to fight against Renegade, who they can't see.
And just like that, was a 40-point lead. It's only a 20-point lead. And shrinking. Spray and pray for Renegade. He's going to use all the tools in the arsenal to pick up another kill and add to his tally. He's 23-12.
23-12 is great, but they're still trailing in this game. They're 1 round down. They're down in round number 2 as well. As Royal 2 turns his attention back towards the oddball. Where are the spawns now coming in? You can see there are PD spawns here for FaZe, so it's a safe rotate for Royal 2 to bring the ball back to his teammates. Passes it off because he knows he's got that short-range weapon to play with. But 2 players have fallen elsewhere, and here comes the flood now from Optic.
Here comes the push, 1-man advantage, and now they're going to try to fly in. Shroud is down for Royal 2.
Lucid's going to poke. Royal 2 doesn't get a huge amount of damage, and Deadzone will clean him up. Oddball's still down on the pink streak. TriPPPeY gets yet another kill, and FaZe find themselves down 2 numbers again.
The push looks very good there. Eventually, Optic Gaming will make sure they get a kill traded out, but initially, the first pressure coming in on back A was very well done there. The Shroud maybe got Optic fans a bit nervous. They execute perfectly, but not that much time on the board. They'll continue scoring. It's a 3v3, and now Optic Gaming only 20 points away from closing out the game.
Really difficult decision here for FaZe as well. They have to push, but the camo's coming up in 5 seconds as well. FaZe will be trying to time this push around the camo, trying to make some distractions, but they forgot about Deadzone. It's 3 dead for FaZe, and maybe that camo's not even going to be an issue for them.
They might rotate back A here. No, they keep PD. Doesn't matter. Only 3 seconds left.
He's got to get this ball out of their hands, and he gets taken down. Optic will respond. They get their first game on the board in this grand final. And we've got a final on our hands.
And how important that Optic Gaming closes out that game in 2 rounds. We've seen it happen time and time again with a team like FaZe Clan. As the Let's Go Optic chant rages through the room, we've seen them steal those wins out from a team like Optic Gaming. However, they close out Oddball in 2 rounds. They deal FaZe Clan their first Oddball loss of the tournament. And we'll take a look at some highlights from a fantastic game for both sides.
Incredible game for both sides. I mean, it's superb stuff from Renegade in that game when it comes to kills, but the one thing maybe I'm kind of looking at, when FaZe start to get on a roll, do they get a little bit guilty of overkilling, overslaying in certain situations? It's been something we've talked about in the past. Maybe it's just about, again, reminding themselves of the fundamentals, what wins them games of Halo. Because Optic didn't make many mistakes in that oddball.
If you want a reminder there of just how close this series is, in the end of those 2 rounds, Optic only outslays 71-70 across both rounds. Only a 1 kill difference between the two teams, but as you said, it comes down to 2 rounds for Optic, clearly indicating objective efficiency in the game, even though only outslaying by just 1 kill.
And it's amazing how the pattern of this grand final has gone so far, right? We talked about how game number 1 was going to be a bloodbath, back and forth, crazy. It's been one of the most fun game types to watch these two teams throw down on, and it ends up being exactly that, right? It's a 5-4 crazy comeback. Game number 2, we said FaZe, this is their favorite Slayer. This is where they get the job done. That's exactly what happens. Game number 3, excuse me, ends up with a oddball win for Optic, one of the game types that they've shown they're probably the best in the world at. The next one is a little bit more 50-50, you feel. Strongholds on live fire. This is a tough one, but maybe you start to favor FaZe a little bit.
You really would, especially here in London. They're coming in with a 3-0 record on this game type, just besting Optic by a bit. Optic is 2-1 on Stronghold's live fire, so FaZe going to statistically have the advantage, but let's not forget they also had the statistical advantage in the last game as well. And you have to feel like Optic Gaming, they needed that win on the board. Maybe it's also the momentum that they needed to carry them through this first best of 7.
Well, the start of this game is going to be important for Optic to see if they can continue the momentum they just gathered in that previous game. FaZe are going to be a little bit shaken, but maybe not stirred, knowing that that isn't a game type that they really kind of have the excellence on that they would expect of themselves. This is more their home ground. This is what they're comfortable on. Game number 4 is live.
Here we go, underway in game number 4. We're getting right back into the action. If you're just joining us, welcome. It is an esports classic. FaZe Clan up against Optic Gaming. FaZe right now leading 2-1 in your first best of 7. Optic Gaming is on the board and they're looking for more.
Optic with an early AB hold here. And a few points on the board before they turn their attention towards the camo. Coming up in just a few seconds' time. The staggered spawn, of course, means the ability to grab a few strongholds before you even engage. And speaking of engaging, Renegade's going to do exactly that. B's going to be flipped. Where did that camo go? It looks like Optic will grab it.
Very nice job there. Lucid almost got away with a QT as well, which would have even added insult to injury on top of the camo grab. However, he does enough damage around the cuts, angles himself away for the initial battle, and paves the way for the team to grab it. Look at Formal.
Frosty knows he's here. Frosty knows he's here, and Frosty hunts him down! Not only is that Formal out of the game, it's camo, it's snipe turned over to FaZe. What a spot that was from Frosty.
Massive play. 1v1 right now. Deadzone versus SnakeBite for just a moment.
B's going to be flipped here by Optic Gaming. And it's a BC hold for them now. So tower control in their hands. SnakeBite with a sniper rifle has a chance to pierce a hole in the Optic setup around the map. But this is what they're so good at doing, Andy. It's the double cap. They are just stifling. They're so good at holding areas of the map. And it takes something special, like a play from SnakeBite, to break Optic apart.
Wow, if that isn't a great representation of what this man brings to the game, I don't know what is. Hits a very difficult shot there. Quick scope follows it up against Formal, and then 180s to the hut. Cleans up that kill as well. That will be a continuation of scoring from FaZe with an AB hold.
AB hold, but the first time we've really seen them with any element of control. It's a 41 point to 17 and rising scoreline at the moment, but AB has been hold for quite some time. TriPPPeY going to take this 1v. SnakeBite going to win the 1v. Now they start to, with that number being picked up, with that kill going their side, they're thinking about a triple cap here, and look at the damage coming in from SnakeBite. Surely it's just a case of Frosty moving in to clean it up. There's one more player in front of him. It's going to be Formal, and it's a little bit of a 1-for-1 trade, but Renegade will secure that kill.
2v2 at the moment here, and A is going to flip. That means Optic Gaming will continue scoring, and thanks to their early lead, they will now have a 10-point lead on the board. Renegade will QT out. Maybe QT back in a moment when the shields allow.
Camo coming up as well in 7 seconds. You can see that Optic have some presence over there. Renegade's trying to hunt at the moment, but he's going to have to do it on his own because he's got players in front of him. Gets a trade in that situation, which is pretty damn good. And Formal's going to get away with the camo and hope that Frosty doesn't spawn quite as easily this time.
That's right. He can't shoot just yet. Frosty's coming for him already. In the end, though, look at the trip cap for the moment at Optic Gaming. A is going to start to flip, but Formal's going to pick up a triple.
3 times for triple kills. The triple cap is in here for Optic Gaming, and that camo worked out a lot better.
And how about it? Optic Gaming bouncing back after those first 2. Looked like they might have been down and out. But it's a very different series, and Formal has the sniper rifle and a trip cap in hand.
Also has Frosty in front of him, doesn't need to deal with him because he's already going to be traded out. And we always talk about triple caps. They're great to have, and if you can trade while having the triple cap, you have such an element of control. You force your opponents to not trade, to get the kill without going down, to even wrestle one of those strongholds away.
Big fadeaway kill there from SnakeBite. It might have been pretty dire circumstances if he doesn't hit that kill across the map, but keeps things a little bit interesting and going to allow him now to wrap around A, probably finish this and push out. They will continue scoring once again. It's a moment, an opportunity for them to get something going on the map.
Lucid trapped on the dummies at the moment, but using the dummies to its advantage and buying enough time for Formal to pick up another double kill. It's 3 dead here for FaZe, and Optic have turned their attention towards B once more. They have control. They are going to be scoring, and you can see that it's about to cross the 150-point mark, and FaZe still stuck on 42.
And now, as you say, over 100-point lead for Optic Gaming. Formal's just heating up. Let's get to a listening with Optic Gaming.
Big door, B.
I think it went back to A. I think it went back to A.
Okay. Spawning dummies, man. Dummies, man. Two.
Go top.
I can AFC.
Yes.
We just need you to live right now.
Go on dummies, guys.
Nice. Watch out, nice bridge, absolute.
3 shots.
Nice one, nice spread part.
Too
Red
weak.
part,
Too weak.
I'm playing this game.
Should be
Bottom tower, and tires. Tires jumping up on you, Joey. Tires weak.
Okay, Frosty.
2 dead. 1A. 1C. One shot A.
Oh, he's 1 shot in A. He's 1 shot.
To where? Okay.
Big door.
Tires.
They're gonna go B.
He's still big door. He's going back to rat. At the end. He's 1 shot.
Watch out big. He's gonna run out.
Going big door. Yeah, he ran big. Have shots at T.
Getting in, guys. I'm looking.
On B.
Yo, big door as well, Joey. Back A weak. Big door, Joey.
Yeah.
2 guys A. Yo, A plat now. Going key door. Yo, spawn Dobby. Why? Yo, mid cut. Live, Tommy, live. No, they got it. Getting A, Matt.
Out real quick.
Well, Optic's still in control here. FaZe had a little bit of a run there where a couple of kills got picked up, but I've got to say, this is the POV to watch right now because Formal is not making bad moves. He's not making bad decisions, and Optic now have a triple cap once again.
Once again, a triple cap. They have not looked back. They sounded so good during that listen, and finally Lucid's taken down, so it will be 4 dead, but not before Optic Gaming crosses the 200-point mark. It's an enormous lead, 202 to 63.
It's off the back of Renegade getting that camouflage. Now, FaZe, what have you got? We know that they will play to the last second, and they are more than capable of turning a lead like this around. Sometimes when we see the best teams in the world go up against each other on strongholds, it's a case of 150 holds, 200 holds, not just the 10 or 15 seconds that maybe you get in matchmaking. But for now, FaZe are making this a little bit of a war in and around B. They get the reset, they will continue scoring here.
Finally gonna have to do the work again. As you said, Optic able to get the reset. Roll2's gonna have to jump back in, buying them even more time. So Optic will just tick, a few more points on the board. It is a sizable lead here, and you have to think in the Optic Gaming side of the stage, all they're thinking is, guys, 1 to 2 good pushes and 1 good hold, and this game is ours. Let's see what they can construct.
I love what TriPPPeY's doing here, by the way. You can see he's just playing very slowly around the tower, protecting that 1 cap that they have, seeing if FaZe are gonna overextend and try and make a play where he can get a free kill. Instead, now the move and the play has been called by Optic. Lucid with this sniper rifle as well has the ability to do special things, and that reaction time is ridiculous.
Beautiful awareness there. You saw Lucid did not want to drop down. He wanted to hold the angle. He was not visible from either side, and then he can perfectly time the pop there to sandbags. It's about to be a trip cap again as A starts to flip for FaZe.
B going to be converted as well. The spawn's coming at A, and that's good news as well. You can see that Optic are not only going to get the information and the cap, they're going to be able to trap all of FaZe in and around A now. They have to force this. The clock and the points are only going one way, and it's all in the side of Optic Gaming.
Great peek shots there coming in from Renegade. You will watch that battle every single day. Renegade versus Lucid, it's always a treat. But most importantly, it's 223 to 102. As we said, Optic Gaming knew they only needed to put together 1 push, and they had great patience. Now they're only 25 points away from closing out the game.
And the numbers game is starting to hurt FaZe. You can see just as they go for B and they get the flip, there's someone lurking in and around A, but SnakeBite goes back and deals with him. And not only that, he gets the reset. Now, TriPPPeY versus SnakeBite will be a trade, but that's a great trade if you have control, as Optic find themselves 4 dead. FaZe are starting to warm up a little bit here.
Big now. They're going to get the trip cap on C as well. Now we'll see what Optic Gaming answers back with. Frosty has a really good opportunity to play spoiler here. They're already working on A and B as Optic. Frosty has to go now.
Somehow they got out and got B from a 4 dead situation, and Formal is doing great damage, and now the camo gets completely taken out. FaZe are 3 dead. They did nothing with the power.
That's going to be it. That's going to be it. Take a look at those scores. Triple cap in effect once again for Optic Gaming at the 240 mark.
Surely this is going to be the home stretch. FaZe are trapped in A. They have to convert 2 strongholds, but they might not even get 1. Optic Gaming will take control, and Optic Gaming will tie up the series.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking. I think you and I during that Optic Gaming listening were thinking the same thing. this shit's getting good. We are tied up 2-2 between these two teams, and we wouldn't have it any other way. How fitting. It's Optic and FaZe Clan. Despite an early FaZe 2-0 lead, only being 2 games away from closing it out, Optic Gaming comes roaring back, and they tie the series 2-2.
This is the series we wanted. This is the series we were hoping for. As now the players have an opportunity just to step away for a few moments to refresh before we go into the, we'll call it the business end of the series. Yeah. This is a huge moment in this series. I mean, it only feels like 5 minutes ago or so that we were saying FaZe are looking great, FaZe looking dominant, and well, now we're tied up at 2-2.
You really are, and you got to think, it was not easy, right? Let's not forget that it would have been very difficult for Optic Gaming to close these games out. Players are going to step away, as you said, for their optional player break after this many games. Early on, really great control from FaZe yet again, but Optic Gaming looking so strong as we take a look at some highlights from that last game. That was Formal's triple, beautiful shots with the last shot in Bandit. Man, he was not missing it. You got the feeling during those trip caps that Optic Gaming is heating up in a big way. Yeah,
I mean, what a performance it was from Formal in that game. I think it was a fantastic individual performance from him. That little run that he went on in the mid-game secured the first of a couple of triple caps that kept FaZe on a really stuck spawn together. The squad spawn in and around A a couple of times, and they were able to stifle them, not let them get out, and certainly not able to get near that B stronghold. Next up, though, Slayer. It's the story we talked about so much. FaZe won the first one, but Solitude Slayer, when you look at Optic Gaming, this is a map and a mode where I'm pretty sure they won a world championship.
And on top of that, we have very good news for Optic Gaming fans, both in the room and at home. Optic Gaming is 3-1 in this specific game type, Slayer Solitude. FaZe Clan is 1-2 this weekend. So maybe an opportunity for Optic Gaming to take another game to put another one on the board.
And then we go to King of the Hill, and we were talking about that, right? We were talking about Optic's record on that, and Andy, if you've got the stats, I mean, just remind us, because it was quite the record. It was the standout when we looked at the comparison.
It really is. That is the game that we hoped we would get to, and guess what? Based on those series layouts so far, we are guaranteed to get there. Let's take a look at the stats so far in this series, though, between these two all-stars. Formal right now, 76 and 61 for a 1.25. Renegade just behind him with a 1.20.
And I would say those two players probably came into this event feeling they had a point to prove, right? It's crazy to say it, but we mentioned, you know, Renegade would be disappointed not to be winning tournaments every single time. Formal, I think it's a little bit more of a nuanced story, because the way that Optic lost that Slayer, his stat line at the end of it, that's going to hurt, man. Like, he's going to look back on that one and say, hey, I don't want to be the player who's putting those stats up in a game which decides which way a tournament went. And Formal is looking like he is out for blood here. That performance in that Strongholds, that's the Formal you want.
It really is, and I feel like we could say the same thing about Renegade's early games as well. And that's what you want. When you have world-class all-stars like these two on stage, you want to see them at their best possible kind of ceiling, right? The way that they're playing, and it feels like we're getting both of that with both of these players.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think it's so far nobody is really laying the side down, right? Everybody's playing some extremely high-level Halo, and I think it's just going to get better and better. The question is, are we going to see more of it? Is there going to be a second series to look forward to? Are Optic going to be able to close out this series? Because this is an opportunity for them. If they can win this next game type, the King of the Hill is a big moment for them.
Yeah, it really is. We can maybe take a look at the series layout while we wait for the players to get back on the stage as well, just because I do want to get back to talking about that King of Hill recharge. As we said earlier, and just in case you missed it, that really is the standout, the highlight game of this entire series. Recharge King of the Hill is going to be a 4-0 record for Optic Gaming and a 5-0 record for FaZe. That will be a bloodbath, and based on the series layout so far, we are guaranteed to get there.
Well, you can see that FaZe aren't leaving. They are staying there. And they are making sure they are nice
and even staying warm, yeah.
Staying warm. They're making sure that their shots are crispy for when we get back on that main stage. I mean, talk to me about your feeling, your gut feeling when we move on to this next game, right? Slayer Solitude, because I've seen Optic win this a lot.
Yeah.
Whereas FaZe, there's like, I don't have the memorable moments in the same way that I do for Optic.
Exactly, especially in London, right? We have a really big positive 3-1 record against for Optic against a negative record for FaZe, and I think it's interesting here that you do see, I mean, there's even just what we see on the stage right now. Let's not forget, Optic Gaming wins back-to-back. They, though, opt to take the optional player break here, and FaZe is actually the one who just lost the 2 games, but they stay on the stage and they stay warm. It's kind of an interesting just dynamic there in between the two on the stage.
I think it's a call of like, hey, we've just won 2. Let's let FaZe think about that for a few minutes.
Might be. It's quite.
Maybe one of them just really needs the bathroom.
It could also be that, as we now see the players coming right back onto the stage, and as we said, FaZe players just kind of in a warm up there, staying warm, but will be an opportunity for both teams to lock back in. And man, would not have it any other way. Tied up 2-2. You thought you might be headed home early. That is not the case. This one, at least in the first series, is going to go the distance. These two teams now tied up 2-2.
You can see Optic Gaming all back on the main stage. Formal holding court at the moment. And when that man speaks, you listen.
Yeah. The amount of experience that he brings to this team, it really cannot be overstated. So many main stage matches for him across multiple FBS titles, and goes without saying, but many championships as well. Undoubtedly talking about what they need to do and what they want to do in this Slayer Solitude, especially on these openings, just because whenever you're around these players, if you catch them in the hotel in the evenings, they are watching gameplay from the past tournament. They want to know the exact opening strats that each team has ran for each game type. FaZe will know exactly what Optic is doing in this opening, and we'll see who can counter and get the early lead on Slayer Solitude, which we know, man, early leads on this map specifically can be very, very, very important.
Yeah, of course. You get that camo, you get that shock. It's not a case of 1 or 2 kills going your way. It can be 5, 10, maybe even 15 if you play some very, very high level Halo. So difficult to get out of that spawn trap at times. But one thing you can say, without the objective, it gives you a little bit of time, maybe just to reset, just to get players back on the map, which is why sometimes you see a little bit more of a standoffy game than the high pace than what we're used to in some of the Slayers. Like, for example, we saw between Quadrant and SSG yesterday. It felt like they were just running at each other until one of them hit 50 first. But just a reminder, that's what it's about, right? It's not the car. It's they're not going to get to take that home, but that trophy is something that's the intangible, right? There's prize money, of course, to play for, but calling yourself the best in the world, being able to add another trophy to the collection, that's why they're here.
Especially for FaZe Clan, right? Let's not forget, Optic Gaming is coming off of a Grand Finals appearance in Arlington. They were going to come out of that event with their head held pretty high. FaZe, though, needed to remind everyone that they are the defending world champions. So far, they have done that, but there is still work to be done to hoist that trophy and remind everyone just how good they are.
Well, fist bumps are going down, and that only means one thing in esports. Actually, it means two. It's either we won the game or we're about to start another one. Let's see who's going to come out on top of this one. Optic and FaZe never disappoints, and at the moment, it is living up to the hype.
It really has been. The players locking in now, and guess what? It is time for our next game in the series. Game number 5, Slayer Solitude. Optic, Gaming, and FaZe Clan are tied 2-2. This will be the go-ahead game in the series.
And the pressure on these opening strategies is going to be immense. If you can get the advantage, you get the upper hand off the rip here, then maybe you can grab that shock rifle that you see in front of you right now. Maybe you can get control of that camo and you can establish that lead that puts all of the pressure back onto your opponents. Formal the man we're going to watch off the rip.
Here we go. We're underway in game number 5, a game 5 Slayer. And as we said, this will be the one that really sets the pace in terms of where this series might go. No kills exchanged just yet. Here's Formal moving across dip.
Love this. He's responding to the call out. He'll find one. SnakeBite, he's looking at him. And that should be a second one. The Frost is there. Doesn't quite get the kill. SnakeBite will escape, but Frosty won't. The kill prioritization there from Formal is immense.
They call him a turret for a reason. No matter where you put him on the map, he's going to hit those shots. Nice little toss of the shock, by the way, to the camo player. Comes in, and it's an early 4-2 lead and power up and power weapon control for Optic Gaming. This is exactly what we talked about.
Well, SnakeBite finally gets taken down. He was the player who had that thrust, and now you can see that FaZe don't really have any toys to play with. It's Deadzone with camo snipe. They don't have the thrust like I mentioned, and FaZe is going to have to play this one slow and look for some trades.
Ooh, good damage coming in here. SnakeBite trying to also play spoiler to this hotel play.
Oh!
Comes in and disrupts that party. And no hotel parties around here. SnakeBite shuts it down and he keeps the game within reason. It's now 7-6. They're only down by 1.
No hotel parties yet.
Later, though.
The night is young. Formal going to be challenging SnakeBite. Can't quite connect with the headshot for now, but his teammate Royal 2 is going to make sure that this game gets tied up. It was a hot start for Optic, but look at what's happening to the score right now. Optic 2 dead. SnakeBite with a shock. And the score just by 1. But 1 could be the difference when we get to the end of the game. SnakeBite extends that lead by another 1. It's 2. Now the advantage to FaZe.
Not done yet.
Sweet.
Absolutely eliminates Formal with a beautiful string of kills. And how about SnakeBite going cafe, going hotel? Individual effort, once again, we talked about at this level, it really comes down to the players that are able to make those hero individual efforts, and now they're up by 4.
And look at where all of Optic are spawning. They are trapped. They are absolutely trapped to the bottom of Snipe. They don't know how to get out, and that means mid-map control is going to be all in the favor of FaZe. And why is that important? Why does that matter? The camo's coming up as well, but Optic have somehow managed to at least force them away, but Renegade now moving in to take some of that damage, and look at this. It's 2 dead, and it might be 3, maybe even 4 in a few seconds. The camo you would expect surely to go to FaZe here.
TriPPPeY with very good cover for a moment, but Royal 2 drops down for the Deadzone kill as well. A lot of pressure from Loop here from Optic Gaming.
But TriPPPeY got away with the camo. The question is, will he be able to survive with this camouflage? And the answer is yes. It's a 6 kill difference between the two teams, but this is the chance now for maybe Optic to get that first kill.
Really big, as you said. He might be able to get this one as well. He gets the help. TriPPPeY staying alive, and Loop, not only did he keep Deadzone alive for a minute, but as you said, he keeps them in this game by stealing camo and staying alive.
Renegade should be taken down here as well, but can't quite connect with the headshot. And Renegade survives, and with that shock rifle coming up, it might just be a little stall. It means Optic have to reset. The shot is still up. Did anyone collect it? The answer is no. Frosty, he's got his eyes on it.
Frosty does well to first pick up that kill on Truck, and now, as you say, has his eyes on the sniper rifle. Still a 6-kill lead here, so they don't have to rush this right away.
2 dead for Optic. Now Frosty can finally get not just his eyes on the shock rifle, but his hands on it as well. 22-16 is the score as the game completely goes to a standstill.
You know that Optic does not want to show for Frosty. They're going to make sure they get the right timing push here. Let's not forget, power up bottom mid here in 25 seconds. They're likely going to wait for that for the push.
Formal's going to challenge. Formal's going to put pressure onto Frosty. Formal will get a kill onto Renegade somehow as well. SnakeBite will trade it out. Frosty will stay alive long enough to maybe re-engage with this shock rifle. Camo coming up in 10 seconds. Optic want to play around this, but FaZe by trading means that they're going to have to show if they want to get that camo. Good damage onto Frosty. Great damage onto Frosty means the shock is down, and this is Optic's chance to push.
Very good damage. We'll see if Formal can stay alive. That'll be pretty big. Eventually he drops down and avoids that grenade somehow. Does not get taken down by the splash of the grenade. He must have just wrapped around the Geo of top mid, and just like that is a 3-kill game.
Yeah, I've got to say, I'm as surprised as anyone that Formal was still alive with this camo. It looked like that nade was perfect from SnakeBite, but obviously it wasn't. And when we're talking about battles in this game, it's all about being perfect between these two teams. And Optic, by getting this camo, they're back in this game. It's just a 3-kill difference, make it 4, as Royal 2 slows things down.
Ooh, look at them. They're all just blind firing. Royal 2 was shooting Hotel, and you have other players just shooting here at bottom S1, and they eagle-eye the camo by just isolating in a 4v1, and they sniff Formal out. The camo will not be a factor, and as a result, FaZe still up by 5.
Back to where we were a few moments ago. Instead of Frosty up on S3 now, it's going to be Renegade who's top. Snipe looking down, looking over his teammates, looking to clean up any damage that comes in that they can capitalize on. It's a 6-kill advantage still. SnakeBite will get another one. And now Renegade sees the option to push. Deadzone will get a kill. The question is, will it be cleaned up? He's going to re-challenge here, Deadzone, by the looks of things, but knowing that he's got shields and he's got time, Deadzone will stay alive, and Renegade decides, hey, I need some shields before I take this fight.
Yeah, Renegade's going to wait for help that comes in the cafe here. Gets taken down in the end. But still quite a bit of a lead here. We'll go back over to the side of FaZe and get into a listening with FaZe Clan.
Nice, man.
Yeah, LR from watch out, LR.
Stop goalie, run your RPG. Go camo and 10 guys. Yo, they're gonna go drive it. They're gonna go drive it.
Yo, camo guys.
Look around, closer. Yo, top golden loop. Yo, behind you guys, fire.
Yeah, I'm already dead, guys.
I see your, I got one.
Nice.
Camo shock. Class, BJ class. So does theirs. They're gonna get camo down.
Watch out, U-turn, man.
Got him!
Watch out, camo. He's one shot, that's camo.
Alarm bread.
He's one shot, that's camo.
Camo, absolute solo, red bar.
Here. Don't touch this thing. We're all stuck here.
Yo, there's one mid. U-turn camo on the boxes. Harder. Yo, there's one down there. U-turn, red, he's U-turn camo 2 shot on my ping.
On you, PD, on you.
Right, jumping
I'll kill him, he's scared.
Top of camo, he just jumped up. He's on the break. Yo, he's challenging, he's on the break.
Still a 4-kill difference between the two teams here. Optic and FaZe going blow for blow at the moment in this game, but not for the first time we saw Optic get away with a camo that you felt maybe they shouldn't have.
You have to wonder if that's going to add up, because now guess what? Just a 3-kill game. Optic trailing by just a few, but it's traded out. FaZe grabs another one.
SnakeBite might have some pressure on him in a second. He's going to have to hit some shots. The last thing you want to do when you're just ahead by a slim margin is give a precision weapon like the shock rifle over to the likes of Formal. And any member of Optic Gaming, Formal gets another kill. And now you can see that things are starting to get a little bit dicey here. Formal is jiggle picking. TriPPPeY's going to be there. He buys so much time, and Formal's still alive bottom middle.
You got the feeling that Formal had to have known help was coming there. There's no reason you stay on Soda for that long, but also a few more kills do come in for FaZe. So Optic Gaming was 3 dead. That brings us now to 44-41.
Lucid last alive. He's going to go down as well, and FaZe now have all of Optic trapped once again. Everybody spawning within seconds of each other means that FaZe can collapse, FaZe can sandwich, and maybe FaZe will be able to go into the lead of this series. It's 3 to go now for FaZe.
Deadzone's in trouble down there as well. He'll get taken down right away. Now only 2 kills to go, 48-41.
Royal 2's going hunting. Will be taken down by Lucid, but was it enough damage for Frosty to capitalize on? There's another one here for Renegade. SnakeBite gets the final one, and FaZe will answer back again. They will now be up 3-2 in this series and closing in on another major title.
That is the second time in this series that Optic Gaming came in with a winning record over FaZe's losing record, and they managed to turn that around. And despite the statistics, win a game type that on paper they really should not have won. They will steal game number 5. They will now take a 3-2 series lead and be 1 game away from closing out the entire tournament.
Now we go to King of the Hill. The game type that neither team has lost, which is fascinating at this tournament, right? You're looking across some of the stats from that last game as well. On the FaZe side, there's not really anyone who's had a shocker. Is everybody just kind of scraping into the positive? The outlier, you would say, is SnakeBite, 13-8 for him in the big games. That's where PJ usually turns up and does his best work, and he's doing it again here in the grand final.
He really is, and as we said, both teams undefeated on this specific game type. Also worth noting, we do have 1 loss overall in King of the Hill from Optic on the weekend. So you wonder, is that undefeated record on the side of FaZe going to win then the tournament? Or will we throw the statistics out the window again? That's the question.
So FaZe 1 game away from calling London their own. And for Optic, it's about winning back-to-back to send us to a second best of 7. I'm kind of nervous like talking about this, you know what I mean? That's what they're feeling up on that stage.
Something like a bit of trumpet to just quell the nerves or otherwise on the main stage. As we said, King of the Hill Recharge will be your next game here, game 6 in the series. It's been an unbelievable back and forth, and the series layout really tells that story perfectly. FaZe with a hot start, Optic Gaming an answer back in a big way, but a pretty big win there. 50-42 at this level of play is quite a large margin when you look at that Slayer Solitude. Yeah, there's a few moments of that Slayer Solitude as we take a look at some of the Renegade stats. Renegade, as he's listed here on the graphic. You can see in kill deaths in grand finals. He's not doing too badly when it comes to most of the game types. Stronghold's a little bit off, but I'm sure we'll be looking to put that right. And he's been the difference maker, I think, in a lot of those big plays. But I want to talk about the big plays from that last game, because there was 2 occasions that you felt FaZe just timed all of their kills. They got 3 or 4 dead, and with their map control and how they block spawns, they got all of Optic spawning in and around S1. And you're looking at the final score, you're looking at the difference in final kills and deaths, and that could have been the difference making, right? Not just getting the kills and the timing of them, but the blocking of spawns to send them all down to S1. It's brilliance from FaZe. The question is, will the brilliance continue, or will Optic send us all the way to a game 7? That's the question. Once again in that game, you saw SnakeBite, for example, cafe spawn, and they had camo and shock in the hotel. He flies right in and he takes that 1v1. We're going to continue to look for that for both sides in this game. Which players are able to step up, fly in, win those 1v2s, and get away with the power weapons? We are underway in game number 6. Well, game number 6 is live. You can see it on your screens, and it might be the last one here in London. If FaZe could close things out. For Optic, they have the chance to send us the distance to game 7. Off the rip, though, it's going to be FaZe who find themselves 3 dead. Frosty, however, he got away with the count. See what he can do here. Going to try to just get a little bit of damage for his spawning teammates. A lot of time, though. They all kind of fell together, so now finally he has a few teammates on the way, and eventually the help does come. Battle for Pipes control is going to be huge here. Formal with the shock rifle is certainly going to make that a little bit easier. All of Optic oh my God.
Pipes. And Formal turns around and just blows his head off with that shock rifle. 2 dead on either side at the moment. TriPPPeY looking to hold off the last push coming in from Optic alongside Deadzone. Nobody really stepped in that hill as yet. It's just a constant battle for Pipes. And Bat Legend Pipes with this matchup here with Optic and FaZe and Formal and Frosty is just the gift that keeps on giving. But talk about Frosty staying alive so long with that camo. You could tell Optic knew it was a threat. They were not able to get any control. In the end, though,
They do win the Battle of Pipes. They do win the Shock. And now TriPPPeY with a very nice grapple out. Hits that perfect 180 to stay alive, and they will continue scoring.
Yeah, really, really good stuff here from Optic Gaming. Great control. FaZe just trying to take their time to get the kills that they need to break that hill. SnakeBite will kill the player inside of the hill. Now has to turn his attention maybe towards TriPPPeY, who's going to try and poke him with his shock rifle. Shots come in, but SnakeBite stays alive long enough with a little shoulder peek, a little jiggle peek for Renegade to come in and clean up that damage. FaZe now control the hill.
A lot of
No, they can't do that.
That is devastating. Look at the bottom of your scoreboard. Optic Gaming was up by 50% of your first hill, but a double kill, cluster luck, nade shot, almost too many medals to list from Renegade is going to really play spoiler to that. They're about to close this out, and he's just completely behind Lucid there. In the end, that's closed out. Still too dead for Optic. This should be FaZe's hill.
Well, the camo was up, and I'm interested to see where it went to, because it's a 2v1 on the map at the moment, and through the scrap and through the war, it's going to be Frosty who gets away with it. And by winning that final fight, you can see SnakeBite. He's inside of the hill, and this might be the first hill now going to FaZe.
This will be FaZe's hill, without a doubt. Moments away. The first point goes on the board. FaZe Clan scores, and they inch closer to a Grand Finals championship.
Well, to blue we go. So underpass we go for the next hill. Royal 2 already set up at the back of blue. TriPPPeY. Well, he's going to be last alive alongside Formal on your screen right now here for Optic. They're going to try and break through gold before they push. This is such a smart play. Taking this extra step is vital to breaking the FaZe setup.
Very good damage here. They also forced Renegade all the way down there. I'm not sure if Renegade knew he had a little bit of cover in Hydro. He gets taken down right away. So the kills will be exchanged one apiece. As you said, though, FaZe prioritizes gold here.
Now they're going to try and flood to the front as well. TriPPPeY's going to be down there. TriPPPeY with a little bit of help from Deadzone is going to get some kills, and FaZe at least will be flushed out of blue for now. Optic done step one in this process, and TriPPPeY's going to get another. Now, can they get inside of that hill? Can they get some time on the board with the momentary control they have?
Well, it's a momentary 2v2 for just a second here. Optic Gaming scoring yet again. That's a big kill to make sure they continue to hold at least a man advantage here. That means FaZe is likely going to wait here on the push. They're not going to try to fly through after losing World 2 very early on in that last push.
Yeah, FaZe know that they're not going to be able to push without numbers here. They're waiting for 4 alive, waiting for damage to try and play off of. Waiting to know that one player has to back down to get those shields, and the damage. Well, SnakeBite played off of it, and he got that kill, but Lucid immediately manages to trade it out. Look at the score, though. Look at the progression on this next hill. Lucid picking up kills in and around the hill onto every member of FaZe, and Optic looked like they were locking this one down.
And manages to stay alive as well. Look at that fadeaway. He knew it wasn't worth challenging.
Catch that one, Royal 2. Catch that one, Royal 2. Twickenham Stadium is a rugby stadium, and let me tell you, I've seen some pretty good takes in my time.
A very, very good toss there now, and that's going to be it. This hill's going to go as long as he can step right back in. A lot of pressure, though, coming here on the front of the tunnel.
Yeah, where's Formal in this situation? That's the question. Is he in a position to help Lucid stay alive here? FaZe are going to break. FaZe are going to flood. FaZe are going to make sure that Lucid does not get that final tick on the hill. And here we are again. FaZe down on a hill, but still alive inside of it. Optic's so close, but so close is never good enough.
Surprised to see them not try to force that there. If they back off, they wait for the help. Gonna have to see if it bites them. If Formal falls here, that's devastating. This could be a heartbreak finish on the second hill.
It's happening again here. FaZe do not know how to give things up. They will fight.
Oh no.
They will claw, and they will win the second hill. They turn things around, and Optic, that has to be a body blow for them.
That is unbelievable. You can't even imagine, even amongst the veteran players of Optic Gaming, for that to slip out from underneath you and to be stolen like that with a beautiful stacks push from FaZe. That is heartbreaking. And now FaZe Clan finds himself up 2-0 in what could be the final game of our grand final.
If you could bottle FaZe's ice and sell it, you would be a very, very rich man. Optic Gaming are controlling the next hill, though, inside a turbine. They do have a setup in and around pipes. They have a great perimeter on the map here for this setup, but I think they'll be questioning themselves right now. Are they able to hold?
Are they able to keep it together? You know, even mentally, psychologically, that is tough in a grand final. To know you had that hill done, you had that hill dusted. 2v2 on the map.
Lucid going back to try and block those elevator spawns. He knows that SnakeBite's on the pipe, so he does not know that he's been stuck by Royal 2 until it's too late, though. Shock Rifle also is in the hands of SnakeBite. He's just picked up 2, and now Optic Gaming find themselves 3 dead.
Deadzone, last player alive. As you can see, holding down pipes, Lucid's going to have a gold spawn, so they're going to now need to construct a push. They were leading in this hill once again, but that is becoming a tale as old as time. Perfect grapple distance coming in from SnakeBite. He knows exactly where 24 meters is there, and he hits that perfect grapple and flies right back up to continue on for a killing spree.
It's another killing spree for SnakeBite. He's 12 and 10 in this game. You can guarantee he's got some objective time as well, and he's adding yet another kill to what might be an MVP-style performance.
Unbelievable plays for him, not just in this grand final, but all weekend long. 2 still dead. They will continue scoring here. 1v1 in the back of the elevator.
With the way that he's playing, the way that he's shooting, you always knew that SnakeBite was going to win that fight. Optic are starting to look a little bit ragged here, a little bit desperate, as FaZe will not give this hill up.
Making it look way too easy. They get the first pick as well. Here comes more pressure coming in from Needles. He's not done! He's not done! You cannot push this man. He is not going down.
Seen some complaints about the lack of sources on food in London. Well, all the source you need to see is on your screen. SnakeBite is feeling saucy right now. SnakeBite is taking over, and FaZe are 1 hill away from being your champions.
This is a team on a mission. What did we say? They would come into this event very, very ticked off, very upset with the performance and the disrespect coming out of Arlington. Guess what? They are here to prove a point, and they are now 1 hill away from closing it out.
The only thing here for Optic to hold on to is the amount of time left in the game. The game clock is not against them. FaZe have been so good at converting the hills, but there is still a very slim chance for Optic to come back. They're going to need all the energy of the crowd. They're going to need to believe themselves, though, because you saw in that last hill, it almost felt like there was a bit of a white flag being raised.
Big progress once again from Optic Gaming. This is the best they've looked on a hill so far. We'll see if they can continue holding. Here comes the push. It's a 3v3.
Renegade should be taken down. It's a trade. 2v2 on the map. 1v, left alive here, and it's going to be formal. So even though Optic are great, even though Optic are brilliant, for the first 2/3, surprise, surprise, you don't win the hill.
FaZe's breaks are too strong, and their holds thereafter are too strong as well. He's done them so well in this game, and SnakeBite doing so much damage yet again here from the bat ledge.
Got the grapple as well to play with, so if he has a call out that he needs to capitalize on, you know he's going to be able to make it. Here it is. Flies in towards Turbine, turns back towards Lucid, and turns him into yet another kill to add to his tally. He's 16
Look at him.
and 11, and now he's stepping in the hill as well.
3 dead. Formal was your last player. No, he's a spawner in the back of Ellie, and they're going to continue, maybe letting the time tick down. Take a look. They are not in the hill. With a 3-0 lead, they are going to let the game clock tick down.
They are making a point here, and they are systematically, 1 by 1, taking Optic Gaming apart. Deadzone is last alive, and SnakeBite knows exactly where he is.
This might just be a victory lap for them. As we said, not stepping in the hill. They want that timer to go to 0.
Team kill comes in as well, making life even easier. As SnakeBite gets yet another kill. It's 19 for him. Renegade alongside him with 19. It was 4 dead for Optic, and FaZe are standing tall.
Standing tall and no interest in stepping in that hill. Just like that, it's less than 35 seconds left on the clock, and they will continue waiting, and they will continue baiting.
Lucid steps in. Renegade takes him out. Formal, you're next. Deadzone, you might be the next one to add to the collection. It's a double kill for Renegade. It's not going to be the triple because Royal 2 has it. And with 18 seconds left on the game clock, and Optic Gaming with 3 in the respawn screen, surely this is another FaZe championship.
And what a way to end it here. 60 seconds of slaying destruction, defensive destruction, 5 seconds to go.
TriPPPeY is alive. Renegade is telling him, no, no, no. London belongs to FaZe Clan. A championship caliber performance from a championship caliber team. They came into this event hungry, Andy, and they never really looked like they were going to lose it.
They really did not. They will now end this event, of course, undefeated in this tournament. Series win after series win. And we said this team would not have appreciated the disrespect coming out of Arlington. They did not appreciate a 3rd place finish at that event, and they flew here across the world to remind everyone that they are the best team in the world. They are your HCS London major champions.
Incredible performance from FaZe, an amazing grand final from them as well. Optic gave it their all, but it just wasn't enough. And as you can see here, the 4 members, plus of course Royal 1 at the end there, make their way here towards the trophy. This is their moment, London, to call themselves champs.
And what a way to do it there. For a moment, you thought maybe Optic Gaming was going to bounce back, steal that series, but no, it's, as you said, the ice in game number 5, the ice in game number 6 allows them to now stand next to this trophy.
Well, there you go, gentlemen. It is your moment. Raise that trophy. London belongs to FaZe Clan.
Man, oh man, what a series this was. Once again, London, give it up for FaZe Clan, your HCS London champions. You know, Royalty, let me talk to you first. Back on top, okay? How does it feel to get your first win here for the season after everything that's been happening?